Betsy's Corner, we're going to write equations in standard form. So here's standard form. AX plus BY is equal to C. Okay, so X and Y, they're on the same side of the equal sign, and C, the constant or the number by itself, is on the other side. We have no fractions or decimals. They must be integers. And A, which is the leading coefficient, the coefficient right before X, is always going to be positive. Okay, so we're going to look at some examples today. So here's the first one. There's my wall. I need to get X and Y on both sides. So I'm going to add on the same side. I'm sorry. So I have 5X plus Y is equal to 2. So I do have X and Y on the same side of the equation. My constant or my number by itself is on the other side. I don't have any fractions or decimals. And my A value right here, that 5, is positive. So I'm all set. That's my final answer in standard form. Okay, let's look at the next one. Again, here's my wall. I'm going to bring 4x to the other side by subtracting. So I have negative 4x minus 2y is equal to negative 3. Now, right now, this is a negative, right? So in order to get rid of that leading coefficient, that A value has to be positive. So I'm going to multiply everything by negative 1, which gives me positive 4x plus 2y is equal to 3. So that's my final answer right there. Okay, moving on. Now we're going to have some fraction to start with, we can see. So remember, with standard form, no fractions or decimals. So I want to get rid of that. The easiest way is to get rid of the denominator. So I'm going to multiply everything by 2, all the terms by 2. So that gives me 2y is equal to negative 7x plus 10. Again, I want to get x and y on the same side. So I'm going to add 7x to both sides. And I have 7x plus 2y is equal to 10. No fractions or decimals. My A value is positive, so I'm all set. Okay, in this problem, we're working with the fraction negative 5 over 7. So I know I need to get rid of that 7. I can multiply by a positive 7 or a negative 7. I'm going to do the positive because I just find the negative sometimes gets lost, and we'll deal with that later. So that gives me negative 5y is equal to positive 7x minus 21. Okay, so again, I'm going to move my 7x to the other side. So I have negative 7x minus 5y is equal to negative 21. I can't have a negative a. All my other values are allowed to be negative if they turn out that way. I just can't have a negative a value. So I'm going to have 7x plus 5y is equal to 21. Okay, let's take a look at the next one. You don't necessarily have to go from point slope to slope intercept to standard form. You don't need to do all three. So you can go right from point slope to standard. Let's just see how things work out and we'll decide what we want to do. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do in this next problem is I'm going to distribute, right? Get rid of my parentheses. There's my wall. So I know I want my x's and my y's on the same side. So that's going to zero out. I'm going to kind of do this all in one step. So I'm going to move my numbers to the right-hand side. So that's going to zero out there, my 3. So I'm going to have 5x plus y is equal to negative 37. So we're going to kind of go through my steps. I have my x and y are on the same side. I don't have any fractions or decimals, and my a value is positive. So that's my answer right there. All right, let's do another one. Same thing. This one's going to be a little tricky because I am going to have a fraction here, right? And 2/3 times 6 gives me 12 over 3, which is the same as 4. Okay, so at this point, I can either move my constants, my number, or I can multiply right away everything by 3. So this time I'm going to do that. So that gives me 3y plus 3 is equal to, right? That gives me 2x. 2/3 times 3 gives me 2x, which is what I want. I don't want a denominator, plus 12. Okay, I'm going to do the same thing I did in the last problem. My x is going to go to the one side. So that's going to zero out there. I'm going to bring my 3 to the other side. So my final, at this point, is negative 2x plus 3y is equal to 9. Okay, so here I don't have any fractions or decimal. My x and y's are the same side. The only problem is that negative 2, right? I need a positive value there. So I'm going to multiply everything by negative 1. So I have positive 2x minus 3y is equal to negative 9. And that's my final answer right there in standard form. All right, let's keep going. Write the equation in standard form that passes through the points. So the first thing I have to do is I have to find my slope. So I have negative 11 plus 4, and then I have negative 6 minus 8. So that gives me negative 7 over negative 14, which is positive 1/2. Okay, so I can use either point. I'll use the first one. I don't have a y-intercept, right? So I don't have a point that would be the y-intercept. So I have to use my point slope form. So I'm going to use y plus 4 is equal to 1/2 times x minus 8. Okay, and then I'm going to distribute. So I have y plus 4 is equal to 1/2 x minus 4. Okay, so again, this time instead of doing it all once, again, first I'm going to move my constants. So this time I'm just doing a little bit different. I am going to have my constants all together before I multiply. Now I'm going to multiply by 2. It doesn't matter if you do it this way or again in the previous one, I did it right away before I had more movement. Either way is okay. Okay, so this gives me 2y is equal to x minus 16. Need to bring my x to the other side. So I have negative x plus 2y is equal to negative 16. I multiply everything by negative 1. I have x minus 2y is equal to positive 16. Okay. All right. One more. Let's see what we get. So my slope here again, I have negative 12 minus 8, and then I have 1 plus 9. So that gives me negative 20 over 10, which is negative 2. That's my slope. Again, I could use either point. I'll use that first one. So I have y minus 8 is equal to negative 2 times x plus 9. So it gives me y minus 8 is equal to negative 2x minus 18. Okay, here's my wall. I'm going to bring the 2x to one side. I'm going to bring my 8 to the other side. And I have 2x plus y is equal to negative 10. So I don't have any fractions or decimals. My a value is positive. So that is my final answer in standard form. Okay, thanks so much for stopping by today. You have a great day.